Hi, everyone. I'm here with Chloe Chicoine. Just learned how to say that. Very proud of myself. Who is a college volleyball player. So we're going to be talking about her background, recruiting process, kind of advice on being a college student athlete, and then talking about her FlexWorks camp this summer, which we're super excited for her to kind of have her first camp this year, which will be super great. But Chloe, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Chloe, and good job saying my name. It's a hard name, but I play volleyball at the University of Louisville. I'm an outside hitter, but I'm a little bit undersized, so I would be fine playing any other position like libero DS. And I just moved to Louisville about 6 months ago. I'm from Lafayette, Indiana.
Love that. So how you liking it so far?
I love it. It's so much fun. Just the girls are so competitive that it just makes practice a really good time. And then our coaches, none of them are, I don't know, they all played, so they just understand volleyball so well that it's just a really good time. And it doesn't feel like there are coaches, even though they are. They just gel with us super easily.
That's great. And then are you going to go to the Kentucky Derby? Can you go to the Kentucky Derby?
Actually, I really wanted to. A couple teammates and I, we could have gone down today actually to go watch. I don't think the actual races are happening yet, but some like pre-races to go down or whatever. But I'm home right now, so it wouldn't really have made sense for me to drive all that way back. But I definitely am going to go before I graduate. I think it would be so
Yeah,
fun.
I've actually been once. Fun fact. It's a really good time.
Really?
You gotta at least go once, especially since you're there. So
Did you see
awesome.
any celebrities?
No, I didn't, believe it or not. I don't know how, but actually I didn't see him, but Dave Portnoy was like in our general vicinity, but he had a ton of security and stuff. So he was close enough, but I didn't actually lay eyes. So so yeah. All right, awesome. So as far as volleyball is concerned, talk to me about like your background growing up with sports. Did you play multiple sports? Did you just focus on volleyball? And what was that like for you?
So when I was younger, I tried a bunch of different sports. I swam for a long time until about middle school, and I started volleyball in about third grade, but I wasn't really sure if I was going to be very good at it. I started out as a middle, which is normally like 6'5" girls. I was really tall and then I stopped growing. But so I played volleyball for a while, and then around middle school, my club team did really well, and my mom played volleyball too in college. So she kind of thought that I had a chance of going to college for it. So that's kind of when I decided I was going to do it.
Awesome. And then I know every sport is different with like youth sports and everything. So did you play on a club team? And for anybody that's looking to kind of get into volleyball at the youth level, what do you kind of advise them or recommend for them as they're going through the process?
Yeah, I started off in club because in elementary school, there's not really any school stuff to do. And it
Right.
was kind of a club called Boiler Juniors. And it was actually kind of ran through Purdue. Like the assistant coach ran it at a separate facility, but I did that. And then I went to Circle City in Indy, which was a little bit of a bigger club. And I did that. But I would say I think it's super important to play high school and club because then you're playing the whole entire year round. And I think it's just, you want to be able to get really good at all the skills. So I'd say not getting locked into a position really early and just learning how to become a really good all around volleyball player.
Yeah, that's great advice. And then I also think playing for a school too, I don't know, there's different level of school spirit too. I think it's just a little fun, you know? So
Have fun.
I agree with, yeah, exactly. So I agree with that. And then as far as like your general recruiting process, when did that timeline kind of start for you? I know, things have changed with like when coaches can reach back out and everything, but when did you start to kind of know that you wanted to play in college?
So there for volleyball, it used to be kind of like a free for all. There was no dead period, and then girls were committing in eighth grade. So college coaches decided that was a little bit too early, like they didn't know what they were doing. So I would say I started in eighth grade, and then the dead period hit my freshman year. So that I liked it personally because it was like you didn't have to focus on where you were going to go. Because a lot of girls can develop from, I feel like, freshman, sophomore year going into junior year. So I thought that was really good to have that time just to focus on my team getting better. Not really necessarily, I've obviously wanted to get better to try and play in college, but I wasn't super focused on that because then once June 15th hit on the non-dead period day, it was crazy, like just phone calls and just trying to figure it out. It was really cool and a really special time, but I think it was really smart to have that dead period.
Awesome. And then how do you feel like you were able to stand out in your recruiting process? Obviously, there's a lot of athletes that want to play in college, but only 7% go from high school into college. So what do you feel like made you stand out? Was it being on the club team that was kind of connected to Purdue? Was it something that you did like marketing wise for yourself, whether it was emails or social? Or how do you feel like, you kind of separated yourself?
I would say, I mean, in 8th grade, after just realizing that it was a possibility that I could play in college, even though they couldn't respond back, my mom helped make me like highlight videos after club tournaments and stuff. And I did a couple USA teams, so that for sure helped. But I think always being on a competitive club team, playing at the highest level, and then my high school team was pretty good too. We won state, but I think that helped. But just sending emails, I just can't believe how many girls don't do it. And I think it is so important. It's pretty easy. Like you just have to make sure that you can find it all on like the website page of like their email and stuff. And then you can attach your like highlight or whatever. So I think after like a major tournament, I would do that my freshman and sophomore year, and then write like a personalized message. If they're in season, I'd be like, hey, great win over this team. And then be like, they couldn't respond until obviously the date, but I said best regards, like Chloe. So I think that was good because and I sent it to a ton of colleges, like just that I was interested in. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head, like that a lot of people miss. Don't send like the same email to every single coach. Like make sure it's personalized. Like it takes a couple seconds to like either go on their social or their athletics page to figure out something that just happened that might be memorable to them, or a program that you're interested in majoring in, or whatever it may be. But I totally agree with you on that. Okay, awesome. So then I know that you transferred. Talk a little bit about the transfer portal. So any college athletes that are thinking about transferring or currently transferring that are listening to this, what advice do you have? How did it feel? Like I have so many questions when it comes to the transfer portal because it's such a new thing, but I guess we'll start with how did the process work?
Yeah, it was really scary because you obviously never really commit to a school thinking that you're going to leave, but I had a couple other girls who did it at the same time, so that was pretty helpful too because we were able to work together. But I would say it feels like you're going through recruiting again a little bit, but you have a way clearer picture of what you're looking for. For me, since the volleyball tournament was still going on, I couldn't take visits, but I was like, I don't need to see the school. Like I know exactly what I'm looking for, like what type of culture, what type of program to reach my team goals and personal goals. So that was a little bit easier and it felt a little bit like a business. But one thing that I did, just because I didn't know, kind of like the emails thing, you could like submit a picture or something to this like transfer portal website, I guess, and then they like post it. And on like the position part, I put outside hitter / libero on I got so many texts or like just on social media, people were like, are you switching your positions? I'm like, no, I'm not switching my positions, but I'm just saying that I'd be open to playing either. So I think just having an open mind also too, like basically at the end of the day, what I told people or college coaches who were asking, what are you looking to do? I'm like, I don't really care. I just want to be part of a good program. I don't care if I have to be a libero or outside hitter, because if I'm not cutting it, then I'm not cutting it, So I'm very grateful that I've been able to hit at Louisville so far. And I just think having an open mind and just knowing, I think the transfer portal is scary, but you have a better picture of what you're looking for.
Yeah. And when you were going through the transfer portal, is it like a situation where you're sitting there like waiting for coaches to reach out to you again? Are you able to have like a little bit more control, or like how does that kind of like work, I guess?
Yeah, I feel like I just kind of, well, you put it, I guess you have to like watch all these videos and then you put your name in, but I didn't know the exact time my name was in, I guess, until I got an email, and then like I just waited for people to reach out. But I worked with my old club coordinators too, who helped me the first time around, so they were really great, and they're like, hey, this is what these people are looking for. Or they would be like, do you want me to talk to this coach? And I was like, okay, sure. And they'd be like, oh, because some college coaches, like, I don't know, they think when you get in the portal, I guess, that you already have a school in mind and you're going to go there. But for me, that wasn't the case. So
Yeah, gotcha. And then what about like the college experience do you feel like was really important to you? And it doesn't just have to be athletics. If it is athletics, that makes sense. But what were your non-negotiables, I guess, as far as being a college student and a college student athlete?
yeah, I feel like it's very personalized from person to person. So what I want could be very different from a different student athlete. And I find my parents or just even my club coaches, every time I've had to go through the recruiting process, is what do you want? So I mean, I think I knew what I want, but at the same time, like the extremes of what I wanted, I didn't know, I guess. Like I was like, oh, all these programs fit it, but in reality, they don't. And I just think taking, like, do you want a super great academic school, or do you want to try and win a national championship? There's some places where you can get both. What type of culture do you want? Do you fit in with the girls? And you just have to really look at not only their practices, but just how the girls' mindsets are and see if they're similar to yours or what you're looking for.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing that I'm just going to touch on real quick that people I think forget about sometimes that's worth mentioning in this conversation is even if a program is good for a couple of years, you might be getting recruited later on when maybe they're in a slump or something like that, and they might not be winning a national championship. So things ebb and flow, and just because there's a traditional history with one school, or it might be a new program with a new coach who's great, or there's so many variables that people don't realize. So I think it's really important to understand like what type of like class size you want to go into, or to your point, what are the girls on the team looking like? Because no matter what, for the most part, those are the people that you're going to be with all 4 years. You can get injured, a coach can leave. There's so many different things that happen, but those are the things that you definitely want to look into. It's don't rely 100% on a coach just to go to a program, because there's all these other factors that you have to live with daily. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And then how are we feeling about like what's going on with NIL? Like, how does that feel in locker rooms? Are people on your team kind of even like talking about that or exploring it? And what's your experience been with the NIL world?
My experience has been pretty positive. I don't think it's been bad in the locker room or like even with our coaches in general. I think it's been a really nice opportunity for all of us. And I think when the girls and I talk about it, a lot of us do similar things, or we are able to collab on certain things, which I think is really cool. So it's kind of just a fun entity for us to just express ourselves and talk about things. And then especially with the revenue sharing that's coming in, that's something that we all just are trying to figure out, I guess, even our coaches. And it's just kind of really neat. And I mean, it's just a really cool opportunity that we have. So we're just thankful to have it. I think one thing though is like it's helping me grow up because I have to do my taxes now, which is so like I have to pay my quarterly taxes, but I guess it's helping me grow when I get older.
Yeah, exactly. That's such a funny thing, but that's so true. A lot of people don't realize that, especially people who are like, just going hard on the influencer route. Like, people have to pay taxes on all the gifts that they get from the different companies and everything. So it's a whole big thing,
Yeah.
And then, as far as volleyball is concerned, it's blown up, right? As a sport in the US, I feel like, especially over the past like 5 years, it's continuing to show crazy growth. And this is kind of leading into this camp that you're going to be doing with FlexWork Sports over the summer. So what are you the most excited for about, attending that camp and kind of being with all the girls?
I think just another opportunity to just be with the next generation of players. It's just so fun. And I mean, it kind of just brings you back to why you're doing it. I think it's really neat just to see girls who love it so much and find so much joy and just look up to you. And it just makes you realize how big of an impact volleyball as a whole is having on little girls who want to play. And I think that just the competition keeps increasing in volleyball. And I can't wait to see where it is in 10 years from now.
I know, it's crazy, right? I hope my daughters play volleyball at some point. I was a tennis and soccer player, but I would like for them to play volleyball for sure.
Yeah, she should.
Yeah. And then as far as your camp is concerned, it's August 4th, right? And then it's at the Mid-America Sports Center. So if anybody is wanting to attend the camp with Chloe, they can go online and get a ticket. We will link all the information in the interview, so you can kind of go directly to that. And then if anybody wants to find you, follow along your journey or anything else, what social media platform's the best and what's your handle?
I would say my Instagram is Chloe18 Chicoine.
Cool. Chicoine. It's not Chicone. That's what I thought it was going to be. All right. Any like last piece of advice for any youth athletes that are thinking about playing in college?
Yeah, I would say just to learn to fall in love with the game, and getting extra reps is huge. I think just learning to love to be in the gym and just be a great teammate. So don't give up on your dreams, keep working and see where it'll take you.
That's awesome. best piece of advice I've honestly heard from any interviewer, or interviewee. So thank you for your time. And to everybody watching, like I said, we will post all the information within the article, so you can kind of click directly to her Instagram, and then also click directly to the camp that will be hosted on August 4th. And thank you again for doing an interview with us. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me.